Formula One, Belgian Grand Prix at Spa, one of the best tracks on the schedule. Love watching the guys at Spa. You have iconic turns such as Eau Rouge here. Very fun to watch, except for this year, because this year has been, well, this year. So we had, big shocker here, I know, right? You had Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, Max Verstappen, 1, 2, 3. Very surprising indeed, am I right? And then after this, though, it did get very interesting, this weekend at least. We had Renault go 4th and 5th with Daniel Ricciardo and Esteban Ocon, which really was sort of a wake-up call for me for Renault. It really boosts their potential to finish best of the rest this year, which is 3 and out. It usually would be 4th and out, but Ferrari has really crapped themselves this year. And they're only 2 points behind Ferrari right now, and only 9 behind McLaren, who are currently sitting at the top of the best of the rest. And speaking of McLaren, they had a pretty disappointing result this race, although Lando Norris did finish 7th after qualifying 10th. Carlos Sainz did not even start this race after having a power unit problem. Leaves them really vulnerable now at the best of the rest spot. They're only 2 spots ahead of Racing Point. So this should be a very interesting midfield race. Speaking of Racing Point, they finished 9 and 10 respectively with Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll. Pretty disappointing result for what has been a good season for them so far. And then sandwiched in between the Racing Points and Lando Norris, we had Pierre Gasly, who put on another amazing race for AlphaTauri, finishing 8th after qualifying 12th, rising 4 spots. Very good race for him. And then we go way down in the standings for this race, and we get at number 13 and 14, none other than the Scarlet Red. We have Ferrari, Charles Leclerc, and Sebastian Vettel. Once again, such a disappointing race for Ferrari. This is where these two qualified as well, at 13 and 14, and they just couldn't make any moves throughout this entire race. Really disappointing to watch this Ferrari team crumble this year. Really hope they get it together next year. So, hopefully, I don't know what they can do, honestly. Just wait for next year, basically. So, this race leaves us with a very exciting midfield now. There are a lot of midfield teams who really dropped the ball during this race. McLaren, Racing Point, Ferrari, although that's normal for them at this point, all had really bad weekends, and Renault really sort of threw their hat into the fold with this race, finishing 4 and 5. So they had a really good weekend, as previously mentioned, and it seems that they found their groove in this race. But the main question for them going forward is, can they keep this level of consistency up to become the best of the rest? The main issue with Renault over the years, especially this year and last year, has been their consistency. They've had real problems with not finishing well in races because their engineering especially has been very inconsistent from weekend to weekend. I think Daniel Ricciardo is a fine driver, and I think he'll get you results like he did this week, every week if you give him the proper tools. I think Esteban Ocon proved himself this week as well to be a very respectable driver. And I think that with the way Renault have gone about this year, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they sort of progress going forward. So if they want a shot at being the best of the rest, they've got to keep up this level of consistency. They need to put in a good result next week at Monza and show that they're here to stay in the best of the rest. And it's going to be very interesting this weekend for sure at Monza, at a very flat-out circuit. This is NASCAR-esque track, if you will. So going to be a lot of power, really show which teams have a nice engine in their car, who's really flat out doing well in that department, in the speed and downforce department. So as I previously said, the race at the top has been decided basically since the season started, right? We've got Mercedes, Red Bull at the top, Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas, whatever order you want to put those guys in. That's sort of decided every race. But the real excitement lies in the F1 season is in this midfield. It's been very close all year, and hopefully we'll see a down-the-wire finish from these constructors.